What's going on, Big Rod? It's about that time, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It's on.
Running to your friends, come on.
Come on.
It's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is time. Sinclair's on tonight.
Once again, it's on. You're still troubled in your home. Got you tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your wealth. Keep it moving, spirit flowing because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday, 8 and 9, and it's on.
Once again, it's on, people. That's right. Once again, it is actually on. Glad to be back in the house tonight, even though, truth be told, I tried my best not to come on the show tonight. Just had y'all ever had one of them days where you just was like, man, I'm not with it. But then you start thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? Hey, I've been gone too long, so I got to go back and see my people. That's why y'all are so important to me, because y'all be my motivation sometimes. Now, first, I want to thank all of y'all who continue to send your mailbag questions, comments, everything that's on your mind in so we can talk about them. And believe it or not, we was going on a whole different direction tonight until I got this phone call. And after having this phone call, and this person was telling me about a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell y'all about it in a second. Let me see who came on first. First person on the show tonight, Big Rod. Big Rod was in the house, and I don't know if Big Rod ever been the first person on the show, but you better believe I can appreciate it. Anytime Big Rod put forth the effort to be on first, y'all better believe we're going to have a good time tonight. And then they go my homegirl, Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchett. See, she from... I'm gonna let her tell y'all where she's from. See that right there? She said, good evening from Huntsville, Alabama. Oh, then there go Nikki Carter. Nikki Carter came on with some pleasantries. I think that's what happened when you stay away for a couple of weeks. You come back in, absence makes the heart grow fonder. That means people treat you a little better when you stay away for a minute. I think that's what that means. I don't know for sure. Let me see what else going on out here. Who else out here tonight? Man, what is going on with the clicker and everything? I just can't get no energy. Hold on. Computer doing what it wants to. The computer probably saying, look, you ain't been here enough to be out here acting the absolute fool. All right, so let me see if I can get it to click on. It ain't. I clicked on Nikki Carter, and all of a sudden, it locked down everything. That tells you. Add to the show. Sorry about that, people. It's something. Nikki Carter like playing with one of them witches out there or something. She done blacked out the whole show. But that's all right, because we back in the game now. Detective Pamela Black, glad to see you. JC, what it is, what it do. Glad to see you in the place. James Key, what's going on? Glad you're here. Nikki Carter said, I ain't got no PTO, ain't no paid time off. You need to tell me in these 7, almost 8 years, I ain't got no PTO. I need to go to EEOC on somebody then. She talking about don't blame her. It ain't no operator error. You know what? See, you know what? I told myself, y'all, there go my mama. Hey, mama. That right there. Y'all better watch yourself, because y'all get to talking crazy. Mama will raise up on the show and let y'all know, leave her baby boy alone. Anyway, but so first and foremost, again, I cannot thank y'all enough, because sometimes you need a little motivation to help get you up through them times when you feel like, just like Steph Curry say, putting it to bed. That's what I felt like doing. Felt like catching a little cat nap. Matter of fact, truth be told, your boy Uncle Cindy Sin took a little power nap. Then my phone rang. And I ain't even gonna say, because you know, sometimes your phone rang, people will wake you up. But my phone rang, and one of the homies called. And when one of the homies called, they wanted to tell me about a situation that they endured just today. And it changed my whole perspective about the show. So for those of you who sent in the little same old about something going, it was one particular relationship thing that I really wanted to talk about. And I might touch bases on the end. But what really struck me about my conversation with the homie was that this person was telling me about an incident. Now, I don't know if y'all done read the little topic, but it said dealing with people with bad attitudes. And I want to tell y'all why that's important. Because you got to know how to deal with people that bring negativity in your life and in your space, because if not, it'll drag you into that negative energy with them on a full-time basis. So tonight, we're going to talk about not only the different types of foolery that folks will try to put you in. Sometimes it's the people you know. Sometimes it's folks you don't know. But we also going to talk about how to navigate through them waters. See, because some of y'all, I ain't going to pick on it tonight, but, you know, Nikki Carter probably one of them types of people that make you want to snap if you out there in the real world. So I'm just saying we're gonna chit-chat about it, and we're going to talk about some real world scenarios, and hopefully it will inspire you on how to act a little better when you get confronted with the foolishness. So first and foremost, let me tell y'all something. Let's y'all know I be keeping up with the little YSL trial down there in the Atlanta. And since the last time you and I was together, man, we done had a judge get kicked off, a new one come on, and old little YSL Woody, if you will, he back on the stand. Now, I'm not a proponent of mistrials, but let me make this clear. This has got to be a textbook case for a mistrial. Anything that can go crazy. And now the trial been going on, seemed like for about 6-7 months. I think it's been going on since the first of the year. But I'm just trying to get people to process. I've seen some of the craziest courtroom antics you ever want to see. And so I believe it is going to be at some point, depending on the amount of foolishness that keep coming up, I think we're going to see a mistrial. Not because I believe that Young Thug and them is not guilty, because I believe he's guilty of everything he accused of. But it's just so much foolishness going on. And I'm going to tell y'all the kind of foolishness that I'm starting to realize. First and foremost, between Donald Trump and the YSL trial, I am starting to believe and understand that everything about your freedom is based on you understanding how to navigate through the system. Nikki Carter talking about she an angel. That's a lie. James says, so was. Never mind. Absolutely. Nikki Carter said they need to order a mistrial and start over. I believe they probably will. James, she's talking about shaking her head. But keeping it real, see, when you got enough attorneys with enough skill set around them, you can prolong and prolong and prolong. Now, Donald Trump lawyers out there prolonging the inevitable, right? And from that standpoint, I think it's worked for him because he's not incarcerated. The prolonging, it may wind up working in the end for Young Thug and the other 17, 15, however many people it is on trial with him. But it's not as much in their favor right now as it is Donald Trump's in his situation, because the dragging on for them is they incarcerated. Nick Carter said when the judge showed up with a support dog, got to be a mistrial. And so I just want y'all that be keeping up with trials and stuff to understand what you are seeing on this TV screens and dealing with Donald Trump is not the normal. Most of you will fold under pressure, and you will have a lawyer that is going to advise you of what they believe is the best scenario. Most of the time, depending on how many charges it is, they'll try to get you to take a plea deal, because they say when you got to deal with the jury, it's always a toss-up, if you will. But I'm just saying, the more I watch these trials, the more I say to myself, our legal system is absolutely, positively broken. Where you got Donald Trump, who can have 4 or 5 cases against him, felony conviction. He walking around steady challenging everything while free. You got 20-some members of the YSL record label, or if you're on the other side, they're a gang, and you got folks testifying. I heard YSL Woody get on their stand yesterday, and this real talk, people. He's sitting in there. He said, oh, so they can't prosecute me for nothing I tell the truth about up here, right? And the judge said that's correct, because they gave him something called immunity. His fool sat right there and said, yeah, because me and the dude named Threat, who was my homeboy, went over there and shot up the barbershop. And so you're getting to really see how the system works and doesn't work. And so I just want y'all to know that it's a lot of foolishness going on in the world, and that I do believe that Donald Trump is probably going to get some time, even if it is delayed and or suspended. I believe he's going to get sentenced to something, because I don't, in my mind, believe that the American judicial system can sustain Donald Trump's antics and convictions and still be locking up regular folks and think that it is not going to have a irreversible mindset on the public. Because if Donald Trump can get convicted of felonies, if he can get caught with top secret documents at Mar-a-Lago, if he can do all of this stuff and continue to challenge the judicial system and never be held accountable, it's going to be hard for you to justify holding a regular person accountable after we're seeing this play out on TV. That's just my opinion. But anyway, so the U.S., the little Olympics is over for right now. The U.S. mopped up on some goals. We had a chance to see a lot of high-powered athletes, and I even watched a little bit of it myself. So I was pleased with that. But nonetheless, let's get down with talking about the topic of the night, which is dealing with people with bad attitudes. Now, if I'm talking about some of y'all, fix your attitude. If I'm not, so I get this call. Now, mind you, I done had a couple of experiences this week that were less than favorable with some public. I'll give you a prime example. So I was trying to figure out, what did I want for dinner? Not tonight. This was yesterday, I believe. And so that I didn't have to guess anymore, I figured, well, on my way to the crib, I should just swing by and get America's favorite dining dish, which is, of course, some chicken. And so I pulled up, because at first I couldn't decide which type of chicken I wanted. Did I want some KFC, which is my favorite? or did I want some Popeyes or whatever? So, like many of you, I looked at the line and I said, well, it's not as many people in Popeyes line. Let me shoot on through here. And I get to the window, and now I like Popeyes chicken. They got this garlic Parmesan sauce on their wings, but I didn't want wings. I wanted some regular chicken with a little side of the Parmesan sauce so I could make my own dish, if you will. And so as I said it to the lady, you know, first of all, if you happen to be in the public service and you work in the hospitality or the food service industry, let me give y'all some advice. If you're working at the drive-through window, stop having conversations with your fellow coworkers about absolutely nothing at the same time you trying to talk to the person that's trying to place their order. And this is what happened to me, for real. So I'm trying to place my order, and so the young lady, I say that very loosely, said, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat your order? So I'm like, okay, maybe she didn't hear me, even though I can hear her running her mouth about what she gonna do when she get out of work, which was none of my business nor concern. So I repeated, I said, can I get the dark meat and can I get a side of a little garlic Parmesan, and that'll be all. So she said, so you want some wings? And I'm like, it's after work. I've been at work since 5-something in the morning. I done walked my 3 miles plus for the day. I done did my day's work. My due diligence is done. I done served the public well. And she can't hear me say, can I get the dark meat with the Parmesan? I didn't even mention no wings. So I said, no, ma'am, I don't want wings. Can I get the dark meat with a side of garlic Parmesan? So she says, well, you're going to have to get white meat because we ain't got no dark ready. So I looked at the clock inside the old Bearmobile, and I said, well, ma'am, how long do you anticipate it'll take? Well, it's going to be a minute. Well, how long is a minute? Because I might have a minute. So she hollering out. Now I can hear her talking to the other person inside her little colleague, and she going to say to them, it's going to be longer than where he want to wait. What? So I said, ma'am, I can still hear you. So she said, well, then you know it's going to be longer than what you want to wait. So I said, ma'am, hold on. All I wanted was some chicken. I really didn't want the attitude. All I wanted was some dark meat chicken and a little side of garlic Parmesan. So she said, I just told you we don't have no dark meat available. I said, ma'am, how long is the wait on the chicken? So somebody else comes and gets the microphone from her and says, sir, you said you want the dark meat with a side of garlic Parmesan sauce. I said, yes, if you would please. They said it's going to be about 15 minutes. I said, well, that won't be a problem. The same girl that was talking crazy that had to get the mic taken from her talking about if he wants some chicken that bad, he need to cook it. I said, ma'am, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't want the chicken or that attitude. And I'm out. And I drove off. Now I'm steaming because I can't believe that I done had to endure ignorance over some chicken. I like chicken, but I don't like chicken that much. And this person don't even know me. So if you don't know me and you don't know what kind of day I done had, why are you so comfortable talking reckless? Because there's some people not like Uncle Cindy Sin. And some people that will get out their car and roll up in there and act the absolute fool. Nigga Carter talking about I should have had my order ready. My order was ready. What you laughing about? You laughing because the lady was talking a little reckless? Talking about she got you. She didn't get me. She certainly didn't get my business. And the thing about it is, I began to ponder. I took myself out of my element for a second and began to wonder, well, what could she have gone through to make her attitude that bad that she is talking crazy to somebody she don't know what kind of day I done had? I could be a serial killer in the making. And you pressing me over me buying some chicken that you can't even get right. Big Rod said, please believe if she young, this is what you're getting these days. I don't understand it, because if I'd have been any other type of fella, it would have been slow music and black dresses all day long if I was on the other side of the coin. And so, but the story doesn't end there. So then, if you stay in the area, JC said customer service today is not the same. Absolutely. And so, sometimes I think everything is a test. I be thinking, well, maybe God tested me today. So what did I do? Now, if you ever been down in my neck of the woods, if you come out of Popeye's parking lot and you make a right, you pass one restaurant, and right there is good old KFC. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this woman's ignorance prevent me from getting some luscious dark meat today. So I whipped on into KFC like a good person would. And since I'm already committed to the chicken process, I don't even care how many people in the line, I'm going to wait. So I wait, and I wait, and I wait. And finally, I don't know, everybody must have been ordering a bucket of chicken at KFC. So I get to the window. When I get to the window, now mind you, KFC doesn't have the little Parmesan sauce the way that the other one do. So I get to the window and I just says, hey, might I be able to get, because I'm extra pleasant now, because I've already endured some negative energy. So I said, might I be able to get a little dark meat and a lemonade? Why this lady said, sorry, sir, there's no dark meat. Now I'm in my feelings because I love dark meat. I'm not really a fan of, it's got to be, if I'm going to eat a chicken breast or something like that, it's got to be cooked perfectly, because that part of the chicken can be dry. Nikki Carter said KFC is no better. Big Rod said no respect for anyone. If you think about it, they don't have a respect, period. You're right. And so I'm sitting up here and I'm looking in another drive-through. Now, this person wasn't bad, but I'm thinking, how can you be a chicken restaurant? And why is all of the dark meat sold out all over the city? And I began to wonder, how could this be? Is people just riding through chicken places and getting buckets of dark limbs? I don't understand it. So I tell the lady, I said, well, how long is the wait? She said, it'll be 7 to 10 minutes. By now, I've already killed up about 20 minutes arguing with the people at Popeyes. Now I'm over here in the front of KFC, and they're trying to convince me after 5 minutes to give them 7 more minutes for them to get some chicken. But I noticed that I see about 3 cars in front of me. You know how when you get to the window, they ask you, can you pull over to the front if your stuff? So I believe that these people are waiting on some dark meat too. And I got to make a decision. What happens if them 3 get all of the dark meat? JC says sometimes they don't even ask, may I take your order? They just look at you like you stupid. Yeah, JC, I'm down with that. And so I'm sitting up here and I'm thinking to myself, how much, listen, people, when folks treat you with a little disrespect And when you done been through some bad experiences, you start doing the dumbest stuff in the world. I am sitting at the KFC order box and I am doing math. I'm trying to decide how many pieces of dark meat can fit in that little pressure cooker at one time, or am I about to be let down again by the great chicken masters, if you will? Because there's 3 people in front of me. And so I asked the lady, I said, is it possible that I'm going to wait 7 minutes and there be no dark meat? The lady says, anything's possible. I was like, well, I be John Brown. Big Rod said, you should went to churches. Attitude already expected. But think about it. The lady told me to pull to the front, and I asked the question, is it possible that me pulling to the front with these other 3 people in front of me, that I still might not get any dark meat? The lady says anything is possible. Apparently, anything is possible except for me getting some dark meat chicken on a Tuesday. So I said to the lady, I appreciate your help, but no thank you. And I got in the car and I came on back home. Later on, I found myself cooking a couple of eggs and some ham and going to sleep. And I thought to myself, just a bad day in the chicken world, no problem. Until the homie called me while I was waiting to come on to the show with you all, and I was resting my loins and closing my eyes, and the phone rings, and the homie wanted to tell me about a negative experience they just had. So I said, okay. Reflecting back on my chicken shenanigans from the day before, this person says, I went into Belk's. Now, if you're not on the East Coast or you're not in America, you might not know what Belk's is. Belk's is a department store, something similar to maybe a JCPenney's or something. This person said, I went into Belk's, and somehow Belk's has some sales. And the sales that they have are sales that is some kind of dot sale. And apparently, based on the color of dot that is on the clothes or the clothes hanger, that tells you it corresponds to a board that says, if you got a green dot, you get this amount. And apparently the red dots mean you get 70% off. And so the homie said that they had picked up a couple of items, a blazer and some shoes, and got to the counter. And that there was a woman of African-American descent working at the counter with a little bad attitude. And so she says that the lady tells the homie, she rang the stuff up and says, well, you got 60% off this and you got 70% off the other item. So the homie quickly says, well, there should be 70% off that because it has the red dot. And so the lady working behind the counter says, well, look, I've already given you credit for this, and you know, there's multiple stickers on this one. So I don't know. Sometimes you got people that put the stickers on these and try to be slick. So the homie said, well, I didn't put no sticker up there. And the sticker says 70%. So I should be getting 70% for this blazer. And so the lady begins to get smart with the homie. And so the homie says, let me see what Big Rod said. Belk sales is only good if you have a Belk credit card. Oh, I did not know that. Jay Dizzle back in the house. What's going on, big dog? So anyway, so the homie says, well, look, so that sign says red dots get 70%. You see the red dot. I don't know who might have put the other dots up there, but I know this and that whole rack has red dots. So the old lady says to him, I'm not saying you did it, but I know people will do it. And so, you know what? I need to get my manager. So the homie says, well, it's not necessary, but if you want to, you can go ahead. I've already paid and tapped my card. So you've already deducted the funds already. So the manager comes over, and the manager allegedly is very polite and tells the homie, I am very sorry for the misunderstanding, and we're going to get this taken care of. Meanwhile, the register lady with the bad attitude is standing there saying, well, it wasn't a misunderstanding because I just let the person know that there were so many dots up here, I wasn't certain. So the more seasoned white manager said, well, don't worry about it. We're going to take care. We're going to make sure that you get the discount, because the homie was pointing to the rack with all of the other similar blazes of different sizes with the same red tag. But yet and still, the seasoned black woman is still talking trash. And so finally, allegedly, the seasoned white lady says, well, it doesn't matter. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and refund you what you already paid. We're going to redo the transaction and make sure you get credit for what you put in. Annie Moore, what's going on? Glad to see you. And so the homie was like, okay. And then the homie says, as the white manager and the black lady with the bad attitude is discussing the discount, they realize they don't know how to calculate 70%, and they don't have a calculator. So the homie says, I pulled up my calculator on my phone and asked them, would you like to use this calculator? To which point the black lady with the bad attitude began to snicker. And I said, wow. Selena Harrell, glad to see you. And so I'm listening to the story, and I am amazed at how people who are in the public service industry has these attitudes about everything. Now, I believe that anybody can have a bad day. But you have to understand, when you're having your bad day, you don't know if somebody else is having a bad day as well. And so you got to check your attitude sometimes. Now, this person went into the store just to shop. And if nobody was in there shopping, the store would have no reason to have you in there at the register. If I wasn't going to Popeyes and KFC to get me a little dark meat chicken, there would be no reason for them to have people at the window servicing it. Everywhere we go, people are mad about something and have bad attitudes about something. Lynette Marie Harris, glad to see you tonight. And so we got to get to a point, first and foremost, let's talk about this, people. And again, if you're one of those ones who is in the service industry and you always got a bad attitude, you need to check yourself before you leave home, because Joe Public and Jane Public doesn't need to deal with your bad attitude, because something is going wrong in your life that you contributed to. Because as I always say, you are the least common denominator in every part of your life. In every good relationship, bad relationship, work experience, or otherwise, you was always there. So anything going in your life, you done contributed to. And I know that some people try to act like, oh, it's not me. Everybody I know has a bad attitude but me. You a lie. But we have to get to a point where we are calling a spade, Robin Williams, what's going on? Glad to see you tonight, girl. And I'm telling you, the mindset of people is strange because it's the folks with the bad attitudes. And one bad attitude can motivate you to have a bad attitudes is like COVID. One person got it, it becomes contagious. Because to be honest with you, if I hadn't been coming home, what would have happened is wherever I would have been going next, I would have had a bad attitude because I had a bad experience with somebody with a bad attitude, and all I wanted was some chicken. The homie that went to Belk's to buy a blazer and some shoes caught a bad attitude over some dots. And see, I'm about to say something tonight that's going to probably make my white comrades feel good and some of my black comrades feel bad. But you know what? Most of the time, unfortunately, it's our own people giving us attitude. Let me start by saying this. I didn't make you get a job at McDonald's, KFC, Walmart, any of these places. Those are establishments that are offering jobs that you, when you didn't have one, applied to and they hired you. And they didn't hire you for your bad customer service. I want you to have the same energy that you lied about when you went to your job interview. Y'all know how y'all go to job interviews and y'all get in there and y'all put on, matter of fact, most of you all take the same person to your job interview that you do when you first meet somebody. Yeah. Yeah, you take that make-believe part of you. The best part of you. Yeah, you take one of them other personalities when you go to your interview and you be in there, yes, sir, I can't wait. Well, why you choose this job? I chose this job because I've always wanted to cook chicken. Line. You ain't always wanted to cook chicken. It be people working in a restaurant that don't even cook. And you definitely didn't go there because you was trying to steal the Colonel's recipe. Think about this. If you're running out of chicken at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when everybody gets off, you weren't planning correctly with the chicken expenditures. You're not a good chicken master if you ran out of chicken at 5 o'clock. You know that's when everybody getting off work. You didn't cook enough chicken. But the chicken's not even the point. It's the bad attitudes. If I can hear you at the drive-through window talking to the person that you working next to about what you think about me, you're wrong for that. Dead wrong. If I go to Belk's and I'm trying to buy something and you put dots on it, why would you think that I'm strolling around the store ready to catch a charge for pulling a dot off one thing and putting it on the other? Come on now. Now, I'm not saying that some of y'all ain't criminals and do it, but I'm not switching dots. And I don't believe that the homie that went to Belk's and had that experience, they're not the switch dot type. And you're arguing, and I want to say this to Black America. Come on now, let's call a spade, no pun intended. Why we so mad and angry, and we're just as suspicious of people that look like us as white America is? But we don't say nothing to our own people. We be getting up. Look, some of y'all will get on Facebook talk about, oh, I went in the store and the white people was watching me. But I don't never see y'all get on the Facebook and say, I went in the store and black folks was watching me. Truth be told, white people might be watching you because you're in there looking like an absolute fool. And I ain't even going to talk about the way people dress, because matter of fact, I might touch point on that. Pause. Let me say this to you. Today alone, I have, hold on, let me see what Big Rod said. Big Rod said people with bad attitudes normally have issues in their life where they're not equipped to handle it, so they lash out at others. Okay, I believe that. James said our own worst enemy. Absolutely. So let me get back to, I'm going to come back to that, but let me get on this while it's fresh on my mind. Since I brought up the way white people be looking at us because how we be dressing sometimes, people listen. And I'm not judging because I know to each his own. And I'm not saying this because I've reached a level in the professional community that as a vice president of a company, yes, I think differently sometimes. But let me tell you what is just burning me up. Why do you leave the house with your pajamas on? I'm so tired of seeing folks in these streets in their pajamas. And it ain't even just the pajama pants and a t-shirt. Y'all rocking bedroom shoes, bedroom pants, a bedroom top. I'm literally on the cusp of losing my mind sometimes when at my place of employment, I work for a college. And I am seeing people come to the school, to a college, in their pajamas. Oh, Annie Moore, you done hit it right on the head. I was about to say something about it. And them bonnets. Listen, if you get up in the morning, go out your house the same way you laid in the bed, and then turn around and you can go back home and get back in the same bed, because you left home. And listen, I'm going to say this to you so-called parents too. Hold on. Lynette said they ain't even got no bra on or nothing. Y'all talking about them bonnets. See, y'all done seen them too. So this ain't just me. I just want to let y'all know this since I'm on one tonight. May as well go all the way in the deep end of the pond. I am sick to death of parents. And listen, before somebody says it, I am not implying that just because you go out dressed a certain kind of way that you deserve for something negative to happen to you. I'm not saying that, but let me say this portion of it. Parents, mamas, daddies, stepmamas, stepdaddies, grandmama, I don't care who you are. You see your child go out the house in their pajamas to go to school. And you okay with it. Some of y'all ready to get into a brawl about anybody that tells your child that they look a hot mess because you walking around with the same thing. Robert said that's the new norm, like pants hanging off the butts. You're right. But I want to say this because I want you to get it from me because I really don't care what you think about me personally. I don't want none of y'all running out to them schools. I don't want none of y'all running down to the precinct. I don't want none of y'all running down to the morgue. I don't want none of y'all running down to the therapist when somebody snatch your daughter up and she becomes a victim because they saw her out there in pajamas. And understand something. Every person walking around these streets is not sane. Every person walking, you got pedophiles out here. You got folks that's as crazy as they can be. And so they see your daughters walking around here in pajamas with all their body hanging out with bonnets on their head. Understand, if you know the world is not a great place to be, but you let your daughter go outside in her pajamas or with nothing halfway on, and she got 50 inches of hair, but 3 inches of material on her body, you the problem too. And stop acting like you couldn't have foreseen that something might happen to your child. It's going to happen because you sending your child out here in these streets with everything from predators to serial killers, and you don't think nothing about it because your child got a right to be the way they want to be. You the problem, and your dumb child is the problem. Yeah, I said it. Absolutely, I said it. You should not be comfortable at a store, at your place of business, at the school, in your pajamas. These ain't no sleepovers. But can't nobody tell y'all nothing because y'all so busy being mad all the time. Oh, Lady Elegant said, don't forget the flyaway lashes. Oh, y'all is drawing in the subconscious pictures of clowns. And it be them same ones walking around in their pajamas that got bad attitudes. You can't tell them nothing. Because y'all raising them. Don't nobody say nothing to my child. Well, when are you going to say something to your child? Your child out there in their pajamas and some $200 sneakers and a $3 bonnet because half of their hair ain't done. You knew the school year was about to start. You couldn't have gave them. You could give them $200 for the shoes, but you can't give them the money to get the braids done. And what happened to the time period when folks knew how to comb their hair? I'm just saying. Let's keep it a stack tonight. Jay Dizzle said, y'all out here looking like Snuffleupagus. And I know some of y'all gonna be mad. And I know some of y'all gonna be out there in your feelings talking about, I don't know who he think he talking to. I am talking to you. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it fits for your child, wear it. If it fits for the person that you the guardian of, wear it. If you the one with the bad attitude, it's you. Because I shouldn't have to be subjected to seeing your child in the streets or you in the streets. And matter of fact, let me go ahead and say this. Let me get this off my chest. You and your child should not be out in the street dressing like each other. There ought to be a difference between what we see in you and what we see in your child. Robin said, you're telling the truth. Big Rod said, we have become a nation of laziness and we think everything is cool. Hit dogs will holler. Absolutely. I don't want to see no more grown folks walking around looking like them and their child is twins. Unless the twin look is a father and his son both got on little bow ties or something. I'm tired of seeing grown women in their cougar mentality. You don't feel comfortable being a grown woman. You got to try to pretend like you want somebody to say, ooh, I couldn't tell which one of y'all was the mama and which one of y'all was the daughter. Let me tell you dumb self something. Do you know what that meant? That's not a compliment. That either means they don't know if you dressing and acting too young or your daughter and whatever she got on and her makeup and them eyelashes is looking too old. I said it. Cry about it tomorrow. Y'all out here doing the most. Kids don't respect you. They ain't respecting the schools. They ain't respecting the employment places. You out here getting fired all the time. Listen. Get your minds together. Nobody should have to deal with you and your foolishness. Y'all too emotional. Emotions drive everything you do. That's why can't nobody tell you nothing. Let me say this other piece too. I bet y'all say this dude shouldn't have never been off this many days because he is really on one. Let me tell you this. When you're going to work, can you dress like you're going to work? I see people, sometimes what you're wearing will make somebody think you in a different profession. And I'm contemplating on how I'm going to phrase this. I really am. Lynette said, I'm glad I tuned in tonight. That's what I'm talking about. Let me go ahead and say this in the simplest way. If I see my job matter of fact, let me qualify my expertise in this statement I'm about to make. Because of my job, the police department reports to me. If I see somebody dressed in a uniform that appears to be like police, I'm gonna think they law enforcement. All right. If I see somebody who's dressed in a nursing outfit, I'm going to assume that they deal with EMS or emergency management services. Esther Shepard, what's going on? Glad to see you. If I see somebody in a fireman's uniform, I'm going to assume, right or wrong, that that person is either a fireman or worked somehow with the fire department. Are y'all following me so far? There's 3 professions. Big Rod said, dress for your job you have. Absolutely, Big Rod. I think Big Rod knows what path I'm on. So if you come to work and your outfit that you wore, your uniform of today, is a skirt that comes just below your butt line, or you got on pants with all the front meat of your legs hanging out, and you got your stomach showing with I don't know if it's a coat hanger or a ring, a nose ring, an earring, or something hanging out your stomach, or you got on a top that in any other country is looking like a bra, and this is your outfit, I'm going to assume that you are working the streets because you in street uniform. Police uniform. EMS uniform. Fire uniform. Lady of the streets, lady of the street uniform. Now, some of y'all gonna get mad about that. But I'm only telling you this for your own good, because it'd be the same people walking around on the job wanting to go and file a complaint that somebody sexually harassed them or said something to them or looked at them inappropriately or touched them inappropriately, that was out there looking like you had a different profession. If you want somebody to respect you, come to work respectable. I'm just saying. You got to keep it a stack with each other. Sometimes the problem is we refuse to say these things that I'm saying tonight. Some of y'all dressing for the jobs or for the type of person that you are. And then again, I already told you, I know what y'all gonna say. Just because I dress a certain kind of way, don't give a person a right to say something, do something, act a certain kind of way. They only thought that that was your career path. And if I'm asking the most honest question, why is it necessary for you to dress that way? What type of person are you looking to attract? Why do you need that kind of attention? Because I can tell you, most of your colleagues already know what your job is. They already know how much you make. So just because you dress a certain kind of way isn't going to make a person believe that you are at a certain level. I could put a suit on all day. It ain't gonna change what my paycheck is. It's not gonna change what my job title is. I could be a custodian and go to work with a suit on every day. After a while, all people gonna say is that custodian sure dresses well. If you want to change your status, change what you are, change how people see you, start by changing your attitude. Start by changing the way you carry yourself. If you don't want somebody to treat you like you working in the street, stop dressing and acting like you work in the streets. I can feel the energy right now. Some of y'all on one. It's okay. I was supposed to tell you the truth tonight. You ought to be able to go to a restaurant and get good service. You ought to be able to go shopping for your clothes and get good customer service. You ought to be able to go get your car service and get good customer service. You ought to be able to go to the bank and get good customer service. If you are a paying customer, you should be able to get good customer service. And some of you all right now today are in these industries, and it's you that I'm talking about. Nobody should have to pay for your bad attitude when they done already had to go and deal with the world and the foolishness all day long. And I'm not judging what you go through, because what you go through shouldn't matter to me, because I'm not going to know you personally. But if I come to an establishment that hired you to do a job with a smile on your face, I don't want no angry bird. I don't want no angry chicken. I want my chicken with a smile. I want it just like Burger King used to say, I want it my way, because I'm paying for it. I'm not going to ask you to give me a discount on the chicken. I'm willing to pay full price for my chicken, but I want the full service too. And there has to come a point when, and I'm going to say this before I get up off this show, when you start to look at something. Lady Elegant said, I get the bad attitudes when I go to the VA. Absolutely. And I'm going to say this, and I know how it's going to leave you thinking. When you ask yourself, when I go to a job interview, why didn't I get the job? Most of the time when you go to a job interview, they will ask you a series of questions. Those questions are designed to get you to express the real you. Many times you will answer a question that will tell somebody what kind of attitude you have. You can't fool most seasoned interviewers, because they're always going to ask you a question like, tell me a time when you had a conflict on the job and how did you handle it? And you are going to slip up and say, let me see about them conflicts. Well, I could tell you about, no, I know which one I'll tell you about. That just told a person that you done had multiple conflicts on your job. Be careful about how you express yourself, because that's what the interview is for. It's not to determine if you're the best technical candidate. If people were hiring based on technical skills, you wouldn't even have to go to an interview, because it's all on those resumes that you embellished on. The resume gets you in the door. Your attitude is what sells somebody to believe that a person with your technical skills might fit the team that they have. Nobody's going to hire your bad attitude to come mess up the rest of the team. Look, people, I ain't messing with y'all. I should have been asleep, but I came on the show because y'all my people. And I really, after having a conversation with the homie, I wanted to get up here and make sure that people understood bad attitudes is as contagious as COVID. You could take somebody with a good attitude, introduce them to somebody with a bad attitude, and that's going to change the attitude of the good person, and they're going to leave from that interaction with negativity on their mind. When you see somebody giving you bad attitudes, go ahead and hit the pause button on them and say, excuse me, whatever you got going on, I'm good. I'll take my service someplace else. Because we are no longer going to pay or provide or be in the midst of you and your bad attitudes. Not when it's on our dollar. And I'm out.
It's about that time, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It's on.
Running with your friends.